Not too long ago, the word marriage brought to mind a few simple guarantees: loyalty, companionship, and absolute trust. Today, that exact same word often triggers a sense of deep psychological anxiety. Young adults now look past the logistics of when they will marry and focus on a much darker uncertainty: the risk of legally tethering their future to a person who is secretly toxic. We have more dating options and connectivity than any generation in history. Yet despite the constant flow of digital matches, baseline human trust has reached a historic low. This fear stems from the hypocrisy gap, a cultural environment where people demand absolute, flawless perfection from their partners, while their own personal accountability weighs almost nothing. When personal responsibility disappears, marriage stops being a lifelong emotional contract and becomes a high-risk gamble where neither person truly knows who they are standing next to. The hypocrisy gap is most visible in the conflicting demands people bring to the dating market, where individuals are increasingly valued for their utility rather than their humanity. We see this in men who spend their youth pursuing a series of casual, temporary relationships, treating hookup culture as an endless carousel of entertainment. Yet the moment they decide to settle down, they rigidly demand a wife who is pristine, traditional, and entirely untouched by the same dating world they spent years navigating. A similar pattern exists for women who spend years prioritizing the emotional thrill of toxic bad boys, choosing high-conflict excitement over long-term stability. When the wedding approaches, that preference for excitement often shifts toward a preference for financial security, valuing a partner's status and bank account above any actual emotional compatibility. Treating a partner as disposable entertainment in your youth and a financial utility in adulthood leaves no room for an actual bond to form. These marriages often start from a place of emotional exhaustion, where the connection is already hollowed out by years of transactional thinking. To hide this internal emptiness, many couples turn to an aggressive curation of their public image. Relationships become performative, designed specifically to gain digital approval through luxury honeymoons and flawlessly edited photos. Behind the screen, the reality is often defined by long silences, profound loneliness, and a growing emotional distance that neither partner knows how to bridge. This isolation creates an environment where infidelity thrives. Secret chats and affairs become common, replacing genuine trust with the fragile protection of one's own ego. This is where human psychology reveals its darkest side. Many who betray their partners fully understand the pain they cause, yet they would feel personally destroyed if their spouse committed that exact same betrayal. When personal ego and digital validation take priority over mutual respect, marriage degrades into a temporary, disposable arrangement. The damage of a superficial marriage extends far beyond the two people in the house. It creates a lasting impact on those who had no choice but to witness it. Children raised inside the hypocrisy gap become the ultimate victims, growing up in an environment where deception is the standard. We talk about genetics, but behavioral inheritance is just as real. Children absorb the patterns of secret affairs, conflict, and silent suffering. Watching parents live a double life programs their understanding of love, and the toxic cycle continues into the next generation. The selfish dating habits we excuse today are actively setting the psychological baseline for tomorrow's families. Consider a simple question. If your son grew up to repeat your exact dating habits and secret behaviors, would you be proud of the man he became? If your daughter eventually married someone who treated her the same way you have treated your past partners, would you accept it? Escaping the modern marriage crisis is not a matter of using better filters or searching longer for a perfect person. A lasting relationship requires genuine character, a willingness to sacrifice personal ego, and a commitment to honesty that exists even when no one is watching. Breaking the generational cycle of toxic relationships starts with a single, uncomfortable realization. True stability is built when a person stops demanding a loyalty they do not practice and takes absolute responsibility for their own character.